If you're using a dating website or app, the stress of going on that first date after connecting with somebody can be absolutely real. Who are you going to get when you show up to the date? Is it going to be the exact person, the profile picture you clicked on, the person in the description that you connected with? Or are you going to sit down across from somebody that's 15 to 20 years older, maybe gray or balding? Maybe they just aren't who you thought that they were going to be. Well, what are we going to get from the Cincinnati offense this year? Are they going to be that gorgeous profile picture that we clicked on that looks like in the description we are an automatic connect with? Or are they going to be somebody totally different that at the end of the date we find ourselves saying, whew, I made a mistake tonight? Yo, what is going on, Headliner Nation? Welcome back into the Fantasy Headliners. Kyle here to talk all about one of the most sought-after offenses in all of fantasy football this year, the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, heck, Jamar Chase and Joe Mixon are both going in the first round. You've got T. Higgins that's going somewhere around the third, maybe late third round. Joe Burrow's a top 10 quarterback off the board. You've got my boy Tyler Boyd that is going a little bit later in the drafts. That's considered a sleeper by many people this year. But what is that offense going to look like? Is it going to be the offense that we saw last year? Could they take a step back? Or, as this video may tell you, is there a whole nother level that they have yet to reach? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I need you to hit that like button for me right now because we're setting a like goal today. 1,000 likes and I'm going to give away a draft guide. But for every 500 likes after that, I'm going to give away another. So at 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 2,500, whatever it may be, I am going to be giving away a draft guide. So make sure you hit that like button. And later on in the video, I'm going to mention something that I want you to comment down below. And I'm going to pick one of those comments to get a draft guide at 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, however many we like. But at the first 1,000, we'll give away a draft guide. And for every 500 after that, we're going to do it as well. But we got a draft guide to give away from one of my last videos when I talked about those early round wide receivers. My man, JT Peterson. I'm all in on Evans this year. I hope I get a draft where I don't have to reach for him. But I don't think Godwin comes back too early. And who knows if he's going to be the same this year. So JT Peterson, congratulations on winning a draft guide this year. Make sure that you email us, info@thefantasyheadliners.com, and we will get everything taken care of to make sure that you get your draft guide. Ladies and gentlemen, this Bengals offense to me looks incredible. Looks absolutely incredible. And the reason I said must have or must avoid, because I think with any team that kind of pops up out of nowhere, kind of like the Bengals did last year, you're just a little hesitant to say, especially going to the Super Bowl, do they take another step forward or do they have some of that Super Bowl letdown? Now, I have seen, not many, but I have seen a couple of comments out there where people say, yes, they believe there might be a little bit of a Super Bowl letdown. I might not be on the same page as you all, though, because I've got some deep diving information here that leads me to believe that this Bengals offense, Burrow, Mixon, Chase, Higgins, Tyler Boyd, are going to be smash draft picks for you this season. And I'm going to explain why right now. So hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new here to the Fantasy Headliners. And for heaven's sake, if these are must-have guys for you, then you must have some Manscaped. That's right. Make sure you take care of yourself this summer by heading over to manscaped.com. Use code word headliners at checkout. You're going to get 20% off your entire order, and you're going to get free shipping. Manscaped Back is a primary sponsor for us this year, our friends over there. So make sure you head over to manscaped.com and hit that up. But before I jump into the really nitty-gritty information, like that deep diving stuff that I really want to tell you all about, I want to take just a step back, high-tier information, and I just want us to appreciate how great Jamar Chase was last season. Jamar Chase wasn't good last season. He was great. And those fools over at Madden that decided to give him an 87 rating this year, well, I'm going to tell you what right now. Clearly, Clearly they were doing some mopping or something and they slipped, fell and hit their heads, and they just don't get it. You gave Tyler Lockett a 90 and Jamar Chase an 87. Okay, y'all over there need to step back and maybe watch a little bit more football because you don't know what you're talking about. But let's just go back again and just appreciate how good Jamar Chase was last season going down the field. I mean, we're talking about plays, targets of 20 or more yards down the field last year. Deep plays, 20 or more yards down the field. He had 40 targets, 20 or more yards down the field, which was first. He caught 17 of those, which was tied for third. On those targets and receptions, he had 650 receiving yards, third most in the league. He had 150 yards after the catch, second most in the league, which I really like that statistic right there. Because a lot of times when you take a look at those specific deep threat players, they don't really have a whole lot of yards after the catch because maybe they can't separate that well. Maybe they can go up and get the ball and they're good with the contested catches, but maybe they haven't separated enough at that point to where, yes, after they catch the ball, they can get you more yards. Or maybe those are guys that are being targeted in the end zone. Once you get towards that, red zone area, that target goes towards the end zone and you're really kind of just catching it there. And then obviously you're done. With Jamar Chase, he was really winning all over the field last season. So I think his 150 yards after the catch are very, very significant when you're talking about deep targets because it meant that not only was he catching and getting those deep targets, but he was doing things after the catch. So he wasn't just a red zone target. He wasn't just a guy being targeted down the field when they got closer to the end zone. He was literally being targeted deep all over the field. And I think that's significant to keep in mind in this offense. Also, his 8 touchdowns that came on those targets, 20 or more yards down the field, that was first in the league. So let's take a look, just historically speaking, on how good this season was for Jamar Chase. Because if you take a look at the top 10 all-time yards per target in a season among qualifiers, Jamar Chase, at only 21 years old, was 8th all time. In fact, there's only 2 people younger than 23 to make this list. The second one, a dude by the name of Justin Jefferson, who's also very good. And he had an outstanding rookie campaign in 2020. And Jamar Chase just absolutely dominated that. Only 55 more receiving yards, but almost doubled the touchdowns. And those yards per reception were we're a little bit higher. We're a little bit higher. So here's the thing about Jamar Chase. Again, 11.4 yards per target, 8th most all time. Technically tied with Michael Irvin at 7th there, all time. It was just a dominating performance down the field. And again, when you take a look at it, Chase, Jefferson, both at 21 years of old. Everybody else is like mid-20s. So these are guys that were coming out in the draft at a younger age and just dominating right away. Both of them LSU products, by the way. Wide receiver U, maybe? What about yards per reception? Jamar Chase in 2021, 18 yards per reception. The 16th highest all-time among qualifiers. The only other player to put together a yards per reception season like that at that age was 21-year-old Randy Moss back in 1998. The only other person that was closer was a Deshaun Jackson and Randy Moss again at 23-year-olds, and then 24, Torrey Holt. Everybody else was mid to late 20s, a couple of 30-year-olds making the roster there as well. But that's just how insane Jamar Chase was last season. That deep playability Jamar Chase has is one of the best in the league. And not only can he do that, but he is so good everywhere on the field. I mean, the dude literally can win anywhere on the field. It doesn't matter where you go. Jamar Chase can win. It doesn't matter where you put him. He can win. He can win on the short routes. He can win on the big plays. He can beat you off the line. He can beat you with his speed. It's one of the things that helped take this offense to another level. But here we go. Here's the big reason why I believe this Bengals offense is absolutely going to explode this season, and it's the Diamond Joey Burrow. All right? Listen, Joe Burrow had a great season last year. Not only was he coming back off of an ACL tear, but he was really trying to deal with one of the worst offensive lines in all of the league. So while we go through and we look at all these deep statistics here, just keep in mind that the Cincinnati Bengals made significant, not just little upgrades, significant upgrades to the offensive line. They went from having one of the worst offensive lines in all of football to potentially having one of the best offensive lines in all of football. Man, you still got first-round pick Jonah Williams. He's going to be there at left tackle. You have Jackson Carman, a second-round pick in 21. You brought in Ted Karras from New England. You brought in Alex Kappa from Tampa Bay. And then you signed La'el Collins to be your right tackle. Absolutely fantastic additions on the offensive line. So Joe Burrow goes from having one of the worst offensive lines in all the league to one of the best offensive lines in all the league. And why is that significant? Well, just take a look at these numbers last season. When Joe Burrow was under pressure, he had 260 drop back last season while under pressure, the third highest in the league. And on those drop backs, he completed 175 attempts, or he had 175 attempts, fifth most in the league. Of those 175 attempts, he completed 104, second most in the league. So again, under pressure, in the pocket, dropped back 260 times. So those 260 times, he was under pressure the entire time. He had 175 actual passing attempts, fifth most, and then he completed 104 of those. Not only that, he completed those for 1,446 yards. First in the league. First in the league. That is an insane amount of yards when you are being pressured. And thanks to his 8.3 yards per attempt, absolutely blew people out of the water. Staying cool under pressure, staying in the pocket, maneuvering, finding his open receiver, getting him to his open receiver. 11 times he found the end zone while under pressure, third most in the league. And there are some even more incredible statistics when you take a look at exactly what that meant. Because, listen, Joe Burrow, his average time to throw last season, so the amount of time from the snap to when the ball released from his hand or he was hit, was 3.31 seconds. That was 18th in the league. And when I say 18th in the league, he had 17 quarterbacks above him that had more time to throw than him. 17 quarterbacks in the league had more time to throw last season than what Joe Burrow had. On those plays that are under pressure. 3.5% turnover-worthy plays. It was the 25th lowest. I said fewest, but it's lowest. It was the 25th lowest percentage in the league. What? Joe Burrow was not only out here gunslinging it when under pressure, but the plays that he was actually making were incredible because of all of those plays. All right? Go back here real quick. Of the 175 attempts that Joe Burrow had last season, only 3.5% of those were turnover-worthy plays. That is absolutely incredible. And that statistic is brought to you by Pro Football Focus. That's crazy. That's insane. Because he was letting it loose, but he was letting it loose and he was actually accurate. He was actually completing passes. He was actually making good decisions when under pressure. And he only had 18 throwaways when under pressure last season. That was tied for 12th. There was 11 other quarterbacks last season that threw the ball away under pressure more than Joe Burrow did. So that also shows me that not only was Joe Burrow staying calm and collective under pressure and actually making really good plays, but he wasn't just getting rid of the ball either. He was keeping it. He wanted to make plays. He didn't care if he got hit. He didn't care if he had guys around him. His whole job, his whole goal was to find the open receiver and make a play, either with his legs or through the air. He wanted to make a play every single time. And not only that, but he was great against the blitz as well. In 2021, against the blitz, he completed 105 passes, 7th most in the league. Against the blitz, he had a 71.9 completion percentage, the 3rd highest among quarterbacks, and he completed 1,673 passing yards against the blitz. Dude threw for almost 2,000 yards with blitzer, with guys blitzing and hanging all over him and coming for him and literally wanting to bury his body as deep into the ground as they possibly could. Also averaged 11.5 yards per attempt. So not only, again, was he finding those open receivers, he was finding them for big plays. He was staying cool, collective, under pressure. Cool Joey B. The dude's cool as a cucumber. He doesn't blink. He doesn't flinch. He was sacked 51 times last season. Most in the league. 51 times. And like I already said, they made not decent upgrades to the offensive line. Not decent upgrades to the offensive line. They made game-changing, franchise-changing upgrades to the offensive line. This is the team that the only reason they lost the Super Bowl last year. Now, I'm taking nothing away from the Rams whatsoever. The Rams were terrific. But the only reason the Rams won last year is because Cincinnati's offensive line was so bad. If Cincinnati had this offensive line and was in the Super Bowl last year, I guarantee they win that game. And now you've got cool cucumber Joey B out here absolutely decimating any team that steps on the field against him with a bad offensive line. Do you all realize what could happen now with Joey Burrow having a good offensive line? Joe Mixon and Jamar Chase in the first round are an absolute smash yes. Give me those two guys. T. Higgins in the third round, yes. And you know what? I'd take him as my wide receiver one. He's going to have some bad weeks, just like Jamar Chase will. He's going to have some weeks where you go, crap. You're going to lose some weeks with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase just because there's so many mouths to feed. But they're going to win you weeks as well. And they're both going to be really, really good. In fact, T. Higgins last year, if he was healthy for as many games that Jamar Chase was, he probably has more targets and more receptions than Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase has more yards and more touchdowns, but T. Higgins was only a few targets and a few receptions behind Jamar Chase, and he missed 4 games. He's healthy all year. He probably beats Jamar Chase in both of those categories. So give me T. Higgins all day long. Joe Burrow, I've been asked a couple of different times about Joe Burrow. Okay, so if you want a chance to win a draft guide, I need to know down in the comments below, where do you think Joe Burrow finishes this season? QB 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Where do you think Joe Burrow finishes the season as a fantasy football quarterback? Let me know down in the comments below. When we get to 1,000 likes on this video, I'm going to give away one draft guide. For every 500 likes after that, I'm going to give away another one. But you have to like the video, you have to be subscribed to the channel, and you have to leave a comment down below to have a shot at that. So leave me a comment down below. I've been asked several times, why would you draft Joe Burrow over some of these other guys? I mean, there was actually a mock draft video I did a few weeks back where I was heckled by several people and told I was an idiot for drafting Joe Burrow as my quarterback one. It was a super flex draft. I took him at the end of the first, and people thought it was an absolutely ridiculous. Do you all realize that if Joe Burrow can do this under pressure with more than several guys rushing him at one time against the blitz, I mean, just with a decimated offensive line, do you realize if he can put together these numbers like this, what this man could do if he's got a clean pocket and he's got, like, I don't know, more than 3.5 seconds to throw? Do you realize what this guy could do? There's no doubt in my mind that Joe Burrow is going to the absolute next level this year, and this offense is going with him. And this video just solidifies how high this offense could go, because if Joe Burrow is that good under pressure, and he is that good against the blitz, and he is that good coming off an ACL tear, and he is that good in only his second year in the league, can you just imagine for a second where this Bengals offense is going to go? And if for some reason the defense takes a little bit of a step back this year and the AFC North is a little bit more competitive, they might have to throw it even more. Joe Burrow for me is like top 5 quarterback. Easy. Honestly, I wouldn't be scared to take him over Justin Herbert. At quarterback 2. If you wanted to take Joe Burrow, like Josh Allen is still going to be my QB1 because, again, the rushing upside is just too much. But if you're going to make a case for Justin Herbert to be the QB2, why couldn't you make a case for Joe Burrow to be the QB2? Like, what's the difference? You could argue that even though Los Angeles has a really good offense, doesn't Cincinnati's rival it? Like, let me know in the comments. Would you rather have the Chargers offense or would you rather have the Bengals offense? Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to get too crazy with it, but this video, this deep diving video is exactly what we do here to help you realize the type of value that could be found with some of these guys, especially the quarterback like Joe Burrow, where you could get him like 5th round or so is your QB1. Like, let everybody else go crazy on the quarterbacks. Your target should be Joe Burrow. If you want a top quarterback, go after Joe Burrow. Let Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Kyler Murray, Justin Herbert, let those guys go off the board. And then you're going to take Joe Burrow and you're just going to be like, you idiots, just let me win this league at the quarterback position. That's what's going to happen this year. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you tuning in to this video. Remember, hit that like button for me. We get to 1,000 likes, I'm going to give away a draft guide. We get to 1,500, another, 2,000, another. Make sure you hit that like and answer my question in the comments down below. And make sure you subscribe. If you're new here to the Fantasy Headliners, you're not going to want to miss out on any of the content we have the rest of the season. I appreciate you all. Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of the Fantasy Headliners, and I will catch you all on the next one.
Analytics off the chain, other channels not the same. Jake and Kyle, you know the name. Headliner Nation, we running the game. Y'all stuck on 3rd down. Your content's plain Jane. Headliners on top now. We gonna move and change. Podcast off the rip. Draft guide, so legit. Fantasy world, our game tight. You know we about that chub life. Stuck in a rut and you need some motivation. Head to the channel for this Headliner Nation. I'm a headliner.